Today, I'm trying my first P&O Cruise. I'll be checking out what's on board, of course the food, the entertainment, and even trying my hand at some bingo.
5 and 6, 56.
I'll show you my suite on board and the not so great start.
She's pretty big. Now this cruise is going to be slightly different. I'll explain more in just a little bit, but first we've got to get on board, and to say there's a big queue is an understatement. So no one really guiding you where to go. I don't know where the... Oh, it's here, is it? Wow. So it snakes around, down, and bloody hell, the weather's not very good. I've done a few cruises, there hasn't normally been an issue getting on like with like a really long queue, but this is insane. So first of all, I've got to drop my luggage at pod number 3.
Which deck is it?
Cool, thank you. So I noticed on my ticket that I have priority, and it just goes to show who you ask, because I asked one person and I said, where do I go if you've got priority boarding? And they just said it's all in the same queue. Then I asked somebody else and they said, come with me. So let's go with them. This queue's ridiculous. I'll tell you what, it wasn't very well signposted, so to speak.
Roger, lovely,
Thank you. The queuing continues in here. It's one thing I'm not a big fan of cruises, is the queuing.
And do you have a boarding pass? So I'll need to print you a paper copy if that's okay, sir.
That's all right.
Alright, so I'll just get you a cabin number. Did you wait in the big long line?
Yeah. I was waiting there for a while and then I was like, I better just double check.
Top of the stairs. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Alright, just got to go through security.
That's to station A. Okay, go that way.
That seemed like absolute chaos. And what's crazier is that this is going to be not even a 2-day cruise. There's this many people that are coming on this ship for less than 2 days, including us. And where it's going is even weirder. I'll explain more. You can see people's balconies there. Thank you. Hey.
Yeah, headline is seat 1 way to the front, there's a map.
Okay, thank you.
I think we're carrying on, sorry. Thank you.
It's like an art gallery here, no? So can I just go to my cabin now?
Yeah.
Okay. So level 8. I'm on level 6. I can actually walk up the stairs. 10 should be down here. My room key's in here. Well, cruising is still relatively new to me, and there's one thing that is really confusing when you get on board a cruise ship, and that's knowing where to go. Obviously there's loads of people around to ask. When you first board, it can be very overwhelming. You have no idea where you're going. There's so many people, and obviously what I'm learning, as soon as you get on a cruise ship, you go to your muster station and then you go straight to your cabin and the keys are waiting for you. You do have to wait a little bit, of course, for your luggage. So it's a 2-day cruise. Well, it's classed as a 2-day cruise, but bearing in mind it's 3:30 right now. We have a full day tomorrow and then we arrive back in Southampton. It's crazy. The ship goes nowhere. I don't actually know where it goes. We'll have a look at the map in a minute, but we go out of Southampton, we spend the day at sea, and then we come back. So yeah, tonight we'll be out at sea, tomorrow we'll be out at sea, and then we arrive back into Southampton. And it's crazy how many people are here just for this 2-night cruise. There is a special black tie event on the last night, and we'll check out the ship tomorrow, but first let me give you the room tour. So being one of the largest P&O cruise ships, there is a lot to explore. They do this newsletter that gets printed out and put in your cabin every day, and it's got information about what's going on board. So when it comes to dinner, I've been told to download the app, which puts you in a virtual queue when you want to go to a specific restaurant, and then it will notify you when your table's ready. The only problem is I was told that the app isn't intuitive in the sense that it will ping you when your table's ready. You have to keep refreshing it to see if your table's ready. So there's 2 ways of doing it. You can turn up and just sit with somebody else. So if you want to sit alone or just you and somebody else or a party, then you have to book separately and wait for your table. And then as soon as you get the notification, you've got about 10-15 minutes to make your way there. Breakfast, there's buffet options. I can also have breakfast in the room delivered by my private butler, or I can go to a very special restaurant, which we're going to do in the morning. So first, let's start in the bedroom area. And what is really lovely about this suite is that there is so much space. We do have 4 huge windows though. The bed is absolutely huge. One thing though, look, they've put this like leather mat on the bed so you put your luggage on it. But as you know, the problem with BBs is just don't put your luggage on the bed ever. Interesting leather headboard there. I do like the mirrors above the bed. The little lights by the bed, there's a reading light there. Somewhere to put your mobile phone. Is there any charging next to the bed? I don't think there is actually, which is quite a surprise. There's no charging. There's always that one switch in a room that you don't know what it does. That doesn't seem to do anything. Over here, I've got a little writing desk. They put a coffee machine here rather than actually over by the minibar. There's probably a reason for that. I've got a phone, branding, little notepad and pen. The bed does feel quite comfy. I'll let you know how well I sleep, and I'll tell you in the morning. One thing that's so expensive about cruises is the internet. You know, even when you pay for a suite like this, you still have to pay. The prices are quite high, especially if you want to be connected the whole time. And even though you are connected, when you are going out on the open sea, sometimes you're not connected. So you're paying a lot of money for internet that you don't always get access to, which is, yeah, they do rip you off with the internet on board. Each company does it differently, but when I was on Virgin last, I had to watch the video before I went to the muster station, whereas here I went to the muster station first and then I've been told to watch, although it was the butler that told me to watch that. So there's loads of information on here. I've got writing on that is small, but that's actually quite good. A few cruise ships I've been on don't have this, so that's quite handy. See what the weather's going to be doing over the next day or so. We depart Southampton and then we arrive back in Southampton, and there's nothing in between. Apparently we're just going to be going around the English Channel and find a sheltered bay or something. There's entertainment, there's stuff about your drinks package. That's how I download the app. They've got a spa on board. You can book a massage, of course an upsell. They've got a brochure. I think these are binoculars. Yeah, they are. I do have some complimentary chocolates and a bottle of very nice champagne. And I got on the ship late and there is a drinks reception, which unfortunately I've missed, but we will go upstairs when the ship departs to see what's happening. And then we've got the mini bar. Now you can pre-order a mini bar to have in your room, which I've declined the offer because it's so expensive. But let's see what we do have. So if you go for the option where there is nothing, you do get some complimentary Fox's mints, a small kettle, some cups and saucers, randomly some salt and pepper pots, some complimentary water, and in the fridge, I believe there's nothing. So I'm assuming that they only give you 2, and if you want any more, you have to pay. What I like about this room is that the windows and the style of the room suite give off a hotel room vibe. Like you could forget you're on a cruise ship. This is my view, and as you can see, I'm pretty much at the front of the ship. Let me show you the bathroom. So there's 2 entrances into the bathroom, and it's quite nice the way they've done this, because in there is the entrance. So when you're in bed at night, you just want to go to the toilet, wash your hands, you can do so in here. And then through there is the shower. You can get there through this way as well. So there's a separate door here to get into the bathroom, which is surprisingly big. And obviously when you open this door, you can walk all the way through to the cabin. But yeah, this is a really nice size. Really impressed with this. Look at all this marble is really nice. Look, polished to perfection. Do like the lighting in here. More marble on the walls as well. And the shower, considering we are at sea, this must be the biggest shower that I think I've had. And definitely you can get at least 6 people in here. This is so big that you can actually have a walk around in your shower. The wardrobe is here. It's a pretty big wardrobe actually. There's the safe, all the usual stuff, hair dryer. Branding is on point with the robes. No posh hangers though. That is a huge wardrobe. There's another wardrobe here, isn't there? Yeah, there is. Oh, here, look at that. A separate wardrobe with all the very posh hangers. So for your gowns that you're going to be wearing on board, you can just put them in there. There's also an umbrella, which is going to be quite handy, but let's face it, when you're at sea, it's just going to blow inside out, isn't it? I've only been given 1 key. That's got my name on there, and if I want to pay for anything whilst on board, I can't lose that, but I also have to use it to keep the lights on, which is quite handy, I guess, because then I won't forget it. Also tells me my muster station. So compared to other cruise ships that I've been on, the Sailway party is a little bit more relaxed here on P&O. Now, whether this is just because the weather's rubbish or because it's a 2-day cruise, I don't know. But obviously because of the weather, they're having it inside this unique space that's inside outside. It does feel weird. There's people walking around in like swimming shorts and then there's people dressed, but why does that not feel weird when you're outside, but it feels weird when you're inside? And now I am comparing this to my last cruise that I went on with Virgin. The drinks were complimentary when you sailed away. Here, they're not. You do have to pay for them.
And I'd like to wish you all a very warm welcome on board Iona, and given the current wind speeds and the choppy seas that are out in the English Channel at the moment. So the plan is to sail tonight, probably sometime just before midnight tonight, and then when we do eventually depart, we'll back out of the ocean dock, swing the ship around and proceed down the main channel toward the Isle of Wight, passing Portsmouth and then dropping off our local Southampton pilot. We'll head up the English Channel tonight westbound, passing the Channel Islands and then heading out, pointing out toward the Atlantic Ocean. We won't get as far as the ocean, of course. I will be heading at a speed of around 12 to 14 knots. Weather conditions for our passage at sea tomorrow, we're expecting strong winds, so roughly 40 knots or so, headwinds, so very windy at the front end of the ship. A moderate to rough sea state of 2 to 4 metres swell, again right on the bow, and partly cloudy skies with some sunny spells. Temperature around 12 to 14 degrees Celsius tomorrow. So that is all from me tonight. I won't make another broadcast as not wanting to disturb you again this evening, so I do hope that you have a relaxing first night aboard Iona and enjoy all that we have to offer. Thank you.
On that note, we're going to go for some food. So tomorrow night it's a black tie event. Tonight it's casual, and I think as it's casual, we'll go and check out the buffet. We'll do a big ship tour in the morning, but let's go get some food. Love these lights on the floor. That is so cool. It almost makes you think like there's a mirror there, but you just can't see your reflection. So we want to go to deck 16 for the buffet restaurant, Horizon Restaurant.
Going up. Doors closing. Doors opening.
Alright then, I'm gonna go. Look at that. Good idea. Seeing what the time is. Well, this feels completely different now compared to just a little while ago. So we're just there Just got to keep on going. So what are the opening times? Lunch is noon till 5, dinner is 6 till 9:30, and they do late night snacks as well, 9:30 till 1 in the morning. Beef stew right next to seafood paella.
Citrus sponge pudding.
It's basically replicated further up as well, isn't it? Everything what was down there is the same, so the desserts and the beef, although here they've got Yorkshire pudding. Look at that. Although this looks similar, the food looks better up here. Hello. Oh, look at that. That is a good bit of fish. Wow, the buffet is huge. It's funny, isn't it? Further down, the food didn't look as good, but up here it looked fresher and there's less people. I know what people are going to say. You've come on a cruise ship to have fish and chips. It's a buffet. You can have whatever you want. Like, I know, yeah, I could have fish and chips. I could also have Yorkshire pudding, but that's the thing. For me, I'm not a big fan of buffets and having 3 or 4 different meals on a plate. Some people like that. I'd rather just go for like one meal. Let's try this fish. It's quite dry, but these chips though, these are like really crunchy on the outside, really fluffy on the inside. The chips are really good. Tell you what, they're a little bit stingy with their drinks. They only have water or coffee. That's it. If you want soft drinks, you have to pay for it. As I said, I will do a full ship tour tomorrow, but just wanted to have a look at this at night while no one's around. The infinity pool, look at this. There's actually 2, there's another one there as well. Shame the hot tub's not open.
And there's 2 voices in this song. And well, there's only one of me up here, so I was wondering, before we started, let's do a little practice run. So I'll count you in.
So me and a lot of other people just got out of that lift because it felt like it dropped a floor or it just suddenly stopped. I'm not getting back in that lift again. You can see the whole, well, almost the whole height of the ship. Look at that. So this is the parade deck, and it's where most of the theatres are. Like tomorrow I'll start right at the top and work our way down, but just tonight I'll just quickly show you the Headliners Theatre and the casino and some of the shops. This is the Grand Atrium. I guess you'd call this the heart of the ship, most definitely. So the weird thing is because we're not actually at sea, the casino's not open. So some cruise ships you can just go in and see a show, and when it's at full capacity, it's at full capacity. However, here you have to book in order to go and see a show, and I'm tried to book to come and see this show because it sounds pretty interesting. They do all this music but with no instruments. I haven't been able to book a seat for tonight or for tomorrow night and the 2 showings that it does, and I'm not the only person because I was just speaking to a few people who also had the same grievance. So top tip, as soon as you get on board or even the day before, make sure you go on the app and book. as I walk back to my room, I'm just going to show you through these restaurants here, known as the Keys. You can smell burgers going on.
Yeah.
There's Asian food going on. And I should have come here for my fish and chips. Problem is I'm only here 2 nights. It's just great. There's like so many bars and restaurants. Look at that scale model of the ship. So I've briefly shown you the dome, and I'll show you all that tomorrow. I did go to the buffet tonight because I know a lot of you like to see the buffet, but we will go to a nice restaurant tomorrow night. Hopefully I can get booked. It's a bit of a shame, isn't it? Not everyone can go and see a show because it gets fully booked. And yes, it's first come, first serve, but you know, you have a lot of people on board a cruise ship, and I probably spoke to 10 people just coming back, and them all saying the same thing. They wanted to go and see a show and they couldn't. So this is the app, and you can book your shows, your food, spas, drinks, internet packages, all on the app. And what is really interesting is it does change actually. So although I said that there was no availability, like it says fully booked there for 8:30, 10:30 has now just become available. So it does change because people change their minds, or I don't know, but it's always changing. So you got to have your phone with you and the app on all the time so you can make sure you go and see a show. They do a performance tomorrow though, at 1:30 in the afternoon, and hopefully I'm going to book that now. Book now. Great, you're all set. And obviously I've just had dinner, but if I wanted to go to the Pearl restaurant or the Coral restaurant, for example, it tells you how many people, you can see that, it tells you how many people are waiting, and that it says 75 in the queue. So if you join the queue, it's moving up and down all the time, and then you've got to keep refreshing the page to see if your spot has changed or you might be moved closer to the front. Yes, it is a very good app. Anyway, I'm off to bed. Not quite sure how well I'm going to sleep because we depart at midnight, going out onto the English Channel with these strong winds. I'm sure the boat's going to be, yeah, that'll be fun. So I'll see you in the morning for breakfast. Night. Morning. Well, it's fair to say the ship is doing that. The seas are quite rough. I don't know what the weather's going to be like today. I think it's sunny spells and showers. Not going to be overly cold, so I'm going to get away with it wearing a t-shirt. There is a specialty breakfast restaurant to go and have breakfast in if you are staying in one of these suites, which we're going to go and check out. But already I'm just looking at the app for dinner, and places are going fast. So whilst I'm having my breakfast, I better choose somewhere for dinner tonight. Let's go. This is it. Thank you very much. Obviously a very classy restaurant to have breakfast because the singer Jonathan Wilkes was just over there. He's gone now though. Do you remember him? Robbie Williams was his best mate. Lovely place to have breakfast though, look at that view.
Now if you're feeling lucky, we've got not one but 2 sessions of our £10,000 mega jackpot bingo today. The first one this morning at 11:15 a.m. You've got to be in it to win it, so head down to the clubhouse and take part in bingo.
All right, let's have a look at the outside spaces. I'm going to start at the back of the ship and work my way forward and go down. There's some pools at the back we're going to go and check out. And what I love about it, also, there's loads of hot tubs. Obviously, this is a very busy ship, so I'm going to try to do my best to show you everything I can. We are in the English Channel. It's October, and it's around about 14 degrees. Wind chill is about 9. It's not stopping people from going into the pool. The only problem is that you've got to come up from your room with your dressing gown on and then get in the pool. That's if you have a dressing gown in your room. So we're literally just on the top of the Sky Dome.
Oh, okay, no problem.
assuming this is golf rather than archery. Hot tub there, and another pool there. Oh, there's a hot tub over there, look. So plenty of places to go and have a swim. Okay, let's go and check out this walkway that's supposed to be pretty impressive on the ship, where you're kind of walking on the outside of the ship. It's down here, I think. So this is pretty cool. You're kind of walking just on the outside of the ship. Look at the sea. So this is the pool area. This area is quite nice because there's no children allowed up here, so it's just adults. So there's nobody actually up here at the minute. But this is a really nice area. I tell you what, the ship is moving quite a lot. And just to give you an example of how much is actually moving, if I stand still, I do have to steady myself. And no, I haven't had a drink. But it's time for some bingo. Let's see if we can win some money. I've got about 15 minutes before bingo starts, and the queue is pretty long, so I hope I get my tickets in time.
So it's already on the fireball. Play here at the cashier desk before 7
If you win, just claim your prize here, okay?
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
With 2 minutes to go. So the clubhouse is where bingo's being played. I'm expecting this to be incredibly busy. Is this the queue to get in to the bingo? This is another queue to buy tickets. This is
We are slightly delayed just because of how popular it is, but we will be getting started as soon as we can. Thank you for your patience, and we'll get started shortly.
there is literally there is nowhere else to sit, and you saw the queue outside of people waiting to buy their tickets. Not only is that going to be a big delay, but I don't know where they're going to sit. I'm just standing up here. I'm going to try and play here because it's or on the floor, or I've just moved actually because it's a bit more lighter here. And there's other people standing at the bar playing bingo. They're still letting people in, which is crazy really, because if the place is at capacity, people are just going to be standing in the aisles and just dotting it.
I've just had to turn people away, and I feel so guilty. So if you haven't had the chance to get your tickets, and you're not still in the queue outside, come back this afternoon. You can purchase tickets from the casino from about lunchtime as well, to make it a little bit quicker. But I feel so bad. I've never had to turn people away. Everyone must love a little bit of bingo. I'm in shock, honestly. So we will be getting started as soon as possible. Dabbers at the ready on your blue ticket for any one line across. Quiet in the room, please. Shh, 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 shh. 5 and 6, 56. 5 and 4, 54. Bingo!
That's fair to say I didn't win the 10 grand. In fact, nobody did. Nobody won the 5 grand that was offered, and then the actual full house was £800. In order to win that £10,000, you had to get a full house within 44 numbers and get this fireable number included in that, which, considering most bingo houses are called around about 59 numbers, that's quite difficult. And believe me, I know my bingo. I used to call it on a holiday park. A very sophisticated bar with a piano. Wow, I didn't expect to see the theatre this big.
Hello Iona, how are we doing today? We good? Good. Give me a wave, you had a good night last night? Good stuff. What are our plans today? Anyone going to swim today? That's my plan. Anyone been swimming already? Oh, good stuff. Well, we are the sons of pictures. I got checks on my sandal.
That was actually a really good show. It was hard to believe that everything that you heard was coming out of their mouths. No other musical instruments or anything. So I thought, I'll go get myself a coffee. I went to the coffee bar, but the queue was like a mile long. They were all queuing for ice cream, but it was the same queue for the coffee or the ice cream. So I came to the bar here, and yeah, a little bit of a wait to get served. It does remind me of like a holiday park, you know, when you go into Haven or something where you've got coffee and also alcohol served at the bar. And of course the coffee, hot chocolate is all extra. You've got to make sure you have your cruise card ready to go. I've decided to skip lunch and go straight for dessert. The Keys actually is a really nice place to go and get some lunch. There's burgers, there's Asian food. The Italian restaurant is just across the way, but where else can you get a proper Yorkshire egg tart? Reminds me of my childhood, the old-fashioned, very simple trifle. That's better than the egg tart. I love the fact that this sweet shop here has a pick a mix. So this is where we currently are, just off the coast. So tonight it's the black tie event, one of the most important nights on any cruise ship. And with this voucher, I do get a glass of elderflower something or a glass of fizz. I need to pick a restaurant and join the virtual queue. So at the moment, most of them have about 30 people waiting. So I'm gonna go for the Pearl restaurant. What's really good is you can actually check out the menu and everything. So I'm gonna go, how many guests? One, and then all I hit, and then hit join queue. You're in the queue. Now the only problem about this is that you have to keep refreshing and refreshing and refreshing, because if you don't, it won't update and it doesn't ping you a message. So that's the only frustrating thing is that once you join one of the queues for the restaurants, unless you want to eat at 5 or 6 o'clock, then you have to keep doing that until you get your message that you're ready for dinner. So let's get this glass of fizz while we're waiting. Don't know where from though. No sooner than I left the room, my table was actually ready. Now apparently black tie isn't mandatory, but if you want to eat in any one of the restaurants, it is. So if you don't have a black tie or don't wear a suit, you can go and eat in the buffet. The first distillery at sea, look at that. So you don't have to queue if you want to share a table, but if you want to get your own private table, that's when you book on the app. Good evening, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Well, the starter looks interesting. It looks more like a breakfast bar. I can't say I enjoyed that. Smells good. I haven't had a chicken Kiev in ages. Let's give this a try. Well, I mean, it's chicken Kiev. The potatoes are nice. The chicken Kiev is, I feel bad saying it, but like a chicken Kiev that you would get at Tesco. Quite dry. Well, I had my fair share of dessert today, so I thought I'd go for something a little different because it sounded good. I thought I'd go for a cheese plate. Didn't realise there'd only be one slice of cheese on there. Wow, it's really moving. Whoa. They actually have a cinema on board. Let's just have a nose, shall we?
Where do you think you're going? Don't worry about me.
I know I've only done a few cruises, but having a cinema on board a cruise ship seems pretty crazy, especially tonight because the ship is really moving. That must be almost like 4D. They're watching F1 in there. See the way the people are moving left to right. Very sophisticated. This is the library. The most famous staircase in P&O. Just trying to get up here, you've got to wait because so many people want their photo. It's a bit rude though asking people to move. It's a stairwell at the end of the day. Well, that's an interesting debate. What do you think? That woman was quite annoyed that people were coming down the stairs. You can't stop people going up and down the stairs. Although it's polite to wait when someone's taking a photo. Mind you, it depends on how long it takes them to take a photo. Some expensive watches. So this is the shopping area. They've got security in here, look. Nice watch shop. Another watch shop. Oh, there's another watch shop. It's like a little shopping centre around here. It's a lot of fine jewellery. I wonder how much they actually sell in here. Sophie Loren. Why can't they have like normal shops? Do you know what I mean? Why is it always high-end shops? Even on a P&O cruise, it's quite surprising actually. Like you wouldn't see a H&M or a Next. Why can't you see a Next? Instead you see this kind of stuff that most people probably would not be able to afford. And of course you can book your next holiday. So look at the gift shop. If you're obsessed with cruising, why not get a teddy bear, which will cost you how much? There's no price on him. Chocolate biscuits, £24. I don't know if I like P&O that much that I'd like to wear a hoodie though. It's a weird vibe because you've got like 70 to 80% of the ship dressed up, and then there's 20% that obviously choose not to, and they can eat in any of the other restaurants that don't have the dress code or the buffet. I tell you what, the ship is moving so much at the minute, people were struggling to walk just down corridors, and I've spoken to quite a lot of people actually just after dinner, and they all said the same thing as me, that you know they find it difficult to sleep when the boat's moving this much, because you'd probably think to yourself, oh, that'd be easy to sleep. It actually isn't when the boat's moving and you're going in and out of sleep. It's a very weird feeling. It's nice, it's comfortable. I was in the Bay of Biscay on a Virgin cruise and they had like really strong winds and pretty high waves, but they put the stabilizers out. We didn't feel anything, but on this ship, yeah, I can feel it. Anyway, I'm off to bed. Morning, back in Southampton, and that wraps up my P&O cruise. On the whole, I really enjoyed it. Do you know what? It was weird. It was classy, but also it felt in parts like a haven holiday with the bingo and the bars and the Costa coffee. But then there were some parts of the ship where it felt really elegant, and then there were other parts that felt more like a holiday park, I guess you could say. This 2-day cruise was incredibly cheap. I decided to go for a pretty good cabin, but I also opted for an upgrade, which you can bid for quite a low price on the website, and I got it, and I think I got it for about £150. This was the price that I paid. That's for 2 nights, all meals included, but not the drinks. Drinks packages are not too pricey on here, and if you are going to drink a lot, it is worth buying a drinks package. The fact they've got a cinema at sea is pretty crazy. The entertainment on board was pretty good. I think more people should do a cruise like this, because if you've never done a cruise before, it's a great introduction to cruising without going too far. I mean, the ship was moving around a lot last night and this morning. Being at the front of the ship where I was, got woke up about 4 o'clock with banging around, because obviously I was right at the front, so the sound from the bottom of the ship, wherever the engines were and that, it was travelling up. So probably not the best place if you want to get a good comfy sleep. I've done a few cruises. I don't think I've seen a ship that busy before. Getting on board the ship was crazy. The fact that you've got staff here at the terminal that didn't know the right information. So obviously you don't know who's working for P&O and who's not. You just see people with a high vis on and you just go and ask them, and obviously they were sending people in the wrong direction, or if you had priority they were just telling you to queue when you didn't need to. And it's that thing, if you're familiar with cruising you know what to do, but you know, if you're still new to cruising, well, you go to your muster station and then you can go to your room. But no one really tells you that. If you want to see the worst cruise that I've ever done, make sure you click on the screen here, or fancy seeing a Virgin cruise, click the video here, give the video a thumbs up, hit subscribe. I'll see you next time.